What movie changed you the most? Ninth grade, Miracle of Life, health class. You remember where you were. Dumb and Dumber, 1994. 1965, the Zapruder film. That didn't just change my life. I think it changed everybody's life. We're still living kind of like in the reverberations of that. Saw Iron Man 1, 2, and 3 in theaters, man. I guess they all made like close to $1 billion. I guess it's not that rare. This is like a little rare because like my life had changed a lot by the time Iron Man 3 came out, and I was still going to the theater to see the man in the suit. I was also a firm believer I've been wrong about a lot of stuff, man. There was definitely you know how when like a little kid goes to see a movie, it's always their favorite movie? Like the favorite movie, if you ask like a 5-year-old, is always like a sequel to some shitty comedy that came out like 2 months ago. So like right now, probably if you asked 100 5-year-olds best movie of all time, I'm telling you dead ass, they're going to say Inside Out 2. Enough of them saw it last weekend, clearly. Either way, though, I was basically like that until I was like 25. I saw Iron Man 1 in theaters. I went, this is one of the best fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. Tony Stark built this in a cave out of scraps, okay? That's not like best movie of all time is kind of crazy, but Iron Man 1 is good. It broke new ground, right? I saw Iron Man 2 in theaters like 3 years later. People were like, how was it? I was like, it fucking blows the doors off Iron Man 1. It's everything Iron Man 1 wishes it could be. It innovates on the formula that they put down in the first movie. Before Infinity War came out, Kate and I watched all the Marvel stuff again, and I was like, Iron Man 2 fucking sucks, dude. It's not even close to as good as Iron Man 1. What the fuck was I thinking? I think I just like popcorn, man. Just like popcorn and soda. Like in the same way that like if you review a movie on Letterboxd, you should also have to post like your phone screen time from when you watch the movie. I'm not saying the review doesn't count, but if you're like Hereditary's mid and then I look at your phone screen time and it's like you had 80 minutes of screen time in this 120-minute long movie, I'm not going to take you as seriously unless you agree with me. Same thing you should have to say in the review if you saw it at the theater and if you got popcorn. Because if you get popcorn, that's like a plus half star to any movie. You can't, it's classical conditioning, man. You're like, oh, this movie's kind of mid. Then you take a bite of like salty, buttery popcorn and your brain is like, that's good. And you look at the screen and you like reinforce. You're like, actually, this movie's kind of sick. This movie's kind of delicious. This movie's kind of like the best tasting movie I've ever seen in my fucking life, dude. This movie's really greasing up my fingers, yeah. Wait a minute, this movie has a hole in the bottom of it. There appears to be some kind of warm sausage sticking through the bottom of this movie. Appear to be wrapping my fingers around the movie and stroking it until some kind of warm liquid butter comes out. Hold up. What the hell, Pixar? This shit wasn't in the damn trailer. We were actually going to go see Inside Out 2 this weekend. Because, you know, it's a kid's movie, no disrespect. And my daughter's a child. We thought maybe this would be the first time we could take her to the movie theater. We were like, on Friday, we were like, do you want to see it tomorrow? And she's like, no, I don't want to see movies that I've never seen before. Which is a bit of a catch-22, obviously. And I said, okay, maybe we'll try it tomorrow. And then we're like, okay, we're going to go see the movie. And then she started like freaking out. She was like, I don't want to go see the movie. It's scary. Kate and I were like, it's not scary. It's Inside Out 2. It might make you, it'll emotionally manipulate you. There's probably going to be like a moment or two where you're going to cry or whatever. But like, it's not scary. And then she's like, no, I don't want to go. I'm like, okay. Maybe age 4 is when we'll take her to the movie theater for the first time. When does Dune Eternal come out? Sorry, Dune Messiah. I'm pretty sure Doom Eternal came out a couple of years ago. Also not suitable for children. And she was also telling me that she'd seen Inside Out 2. And at first I was like, what are you talking about? And then I realized that there was a time where like on her iPad, she would watch the Inside Out trailer, which is like 3 seconds of dialogue and it's set to Boston's More Than a Feeling. And I was like, you haven't seen the movie, you've only seen the trailer. I mean, I think, honestly, ruining a movie and getting it out of your system is a rite of passage. I probably ruined the Addams Family for some motherfuckers when that was the first movie I saw in theaters. And then the disembodied hand starts running right at the screen. That shit's spooky, man. I don't know why the first movie I saw in theaters was the fucking Addams Family. They're creepy and they're kooky. They're fucking sneaky and they're spooky. Yeah, but Gomez and Morticia actually model a really healthy marriage. Brother, you are 34 years old. I was 3.5. They were putting fucking frog's eyes in the stew. That shit was bubbling, man. They put Uncle Fester in the fucking electric chair. Okay? I didn't have a good grasp on what was real and what was fake when I saw that shit. Now, is it good? Yeah, it's a good movie. I even like it more than Addams Family Values. I think there's a lot of nostalgia talking. But yeah, you gotta, like, listen, don't take your 3-year-old to see, like, The Irishman or something. That's crazy. Don't even take your 23-year-old to see The Irishman. Saw the first Ghostbusters when I was 3. Listen, I'll just tell you straight up. There's a long list of movies that gave me nightmares as a kid. Ghostbusters 1 was not amongst them. Ghostbusters 2 was amongst them, though, for sure. I was worried that Vigo was real and he was going to turn the Cataraqui River into pink slime. What about the scene where he gets blown by a ghost? When you're a kid, you don't fucking get it. You know, you're like, they're probably just tickling each other down there or something. Which is actually like, I mean, it kind of is what it is, I suppose. But like, a little different. There is a difference for sure. The Mummy? I didn't get freaked out by The Mummy, but it is a common one. The scarabs under the skin. Yeah. I hear you on that one. I guess I'm blessed that for whatever. I must have been like a little bit older at least. Pee-wee's Adventure. Yeah, Large Marge. If you're up around my age, it's a little spooky. Independence Day fucked me up. Starship Troop. Anything with aliens fucked me up a little bit. Like, you know, this is how you know fears are like not really that rational, or are they the most rational thing on the planet? I wasn't really scared of like monsters, but I was concerned that like aliens were gonna invade my fucking like rural ass Canadian town. Like anytime I heard a noise outside when I was a kid, I would be like, that's the UFO landing to come and fucking vaporize us. I'm trying to think of like what. It must have been so hard for my parents because we're going through the same thing with like my daughter. And she's like, I see monsters. And we're like, there's no monsters aren't real. And she's like, they are real. I've seen them. And I'm like, come on. This isn't r/no sleep, okay? But like imagine my parents are both trying to get to sleep so they can like get up at 6:02 a.m. and go to work for 10 hours. Then at 1 a.m., I'm like, Mom! I think I saw an alien outside my window. She's like, shut the fuck up, dude. She never said that. She was always like very tender and comforting. But like when she went back to bed and my dad was like, what is it this time? She probably was like, fucking aliens again. Our kid is an idiot. War of the Worlds was scary. Are you 100 years old or like 27? I saw it in my... it was my senior year of high school, so I recognized at that point that it was fiction. I can't put myself in the shoes of a child or an adolescent aside. So, but it's like, you know, relatively mundane shit will fuck you up when you're like a little kid. I lost a lot of sleep over Gary Oldman transforming into a weird alien spider at the end of that shitty Lost in Space movie. That movie was not worth losing sleep over for sure. Mars Attacks, yeah, Mars Attacks freaked me out for sure. I don't know why I kept watching all these alien movies, man. Jumanji? A little bit. For the one in Jumanji that would get me as a kid is when the kid turns into like a spider monkey. I wasn't even scared of like the rhino stampede. It was just like, Mom, what if I open a board game and it turns me into a fucking monkey? E.T.? Bro, E.T. is... scary. The scary thing is not the alien though. The scary thing is the fucking us. It really makes you think. When the dudes in the hazmat suits take Elliot and E.T. into the plastic tubing and stuff. When they beat him to death with hammers. Yeah, exactly. I saw Seven when I was like 8 and it fucked me up. That's just, listen, either you did that to yourself or that's horrendous parenting. That one should, like that could cause nightmares in an adult. No 8-year-old kid should be seeing 7. I'm resisting trying to make like a numerological joke. What's crazy though is like when you're a kid, you feel so comforted that there's like adults around. Like I don't care if a fucking 7-foot tall alien walks past my birthday party. At least my dad and my uncle are there. Now I'm in the position of being like the dad and the uncle. And I'm like, if an alien walks by this birthday party, what the fuck do they want me to do, man? Take a photo of it? Like, I'm not gonna, I got no recourse. Me and my brother-in-law are gonna run down this alien and like kill him or something. Like, come on. I'm gonna be like, oh fuck. I'm gonna be freaking out too. It's gonna put me in, you know, Act 1 of 2001: A Space Odyssey mode. What I'm saying is if you were a child, you should not really feel comforted in the event of a supernatural apocalypse if there's adults nearby. Because we will not be able to do anything, to be honest with you. I'm sorry if you're watching this and you're like 8 and you're like, you know, my dad would just save me from the alien. He would probably try. But those motherfuckers have faster than light travel. Like we're working at a serious disadvantage if you look at the tail of the tape. I would do my best. Because like if something happens and they end up allergic to water, I mean, I don't want to be the guy who's like, yeah, I kind of like ditched my family and now the aliens are all gone. Whoopsie, right? Like, that's like a force majeure type situation. So like it's just one, I'm sorry to say it, it's kind of like, I guess it's heteronormative, but as a man, as a father, you kind of got to sack the body on that one. Otherwise, you're going to be shunned in the event of the apocalypse reversing. But like, yeah, the same thing, you know, when I was like a kid, you know, I'd be scared to go on like a train ride or something like that. I'd be like, what if the train derails? And I'd be like, don't worry, grandpa's here. Train can't derail when your grandpa's here. He doesn't know what the fuck's going on with railroad infrastructure. He's like 72 years old. He's probably going to be more fucked up than me if this bitch comes uncoupled. I'm going to be dragging his ass out through the window. You're on your own, man. Like, no disrespect to my mom, but what the fuck is my mom gonna do if there's an alien invasion? She's gonna like hug me while they hit us with the fucking heat ray. If we're lucky, we get instantly vaporized and not like taken up to the UFO in a fucking traction beam and a tractor beam and experimented on or kept in some kind of fucked up Kurt Vonnegut zoo or something like that. We're going down. She just doesn't have the, she doesn't have the capabilities. She doesn't have the move set to stop the aliens from getting us, man. But when I was 7, she was the vanguard. She was Earth's vanguard. What about your dad? He'd be beating those fuckers up with the Canadian Tire hockey stick for sure. He could probably take out 3 or 4 before they probe his anus or whatever they do. What are the aliens doing these days? They do love to probe the... And I think that we give the aliens too much shit for probing the anus. We only have so many orifices, bro. And we got a lot of shit to take data on and measurements. It's really... I mean, if you're trying to get some measurements of what's going on inside the human body, there's only 2 entrances, man. You're going through the mouth or you're going through the anus. Even the doctors are only going through the mouth and the anus when they got to look at some shit in there. What do you expect the aliens to do? There's other orifices? Yeah, but like, I don't know how familiar you are with human anatomy, but they don't all lead places. Some of them are like dead ends. No, they're not. Yes, they are, man. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Yes, they are, man. There's some cul-de-sacs up in there. Name one? I don't want to because you're going to be gross about it. Noses go to the same place? I wasn't talking about the nose, big dog.
Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly for a white guy. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis. You know it's kinda hard just to get along today. Our subject isn't cool, but he fakes it anyway. He may not have a clue and he may not have style, but everything he lacks, well, he makes up in denial. So don't debate, play us straight. Woo, you know he really doesn't get it anyway. Gonna play the field and keep it real for you no way, for you no way. So if you don't rate, just overcompensate. At least you know you can always go on Ricky Lake. Woo! The world needs wannabes. Oh, hey, hey, do that brand new thing. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. And all the girlies say I'm pretty fly. He needs some cool tunes, not just any will suffice. But they didn't have Ice Cube, so he bought Vanilla Ice. Now cruising in his Pinto, he sees homies as he pass. But if he looks twice, they're gonna kick his lily ass. So don't debate the player straight. Woo! You know he really doesn't get it anyway. Gonna play the field and keep it real for you no way, for you no way. So if you don't rate, just overcompensate. At least you know you can always go on Ricky Lake. The world loves wannabes. Hey, hey, do that brand new thing. Now he's getting a tattoo, yeah, he's getting ink done. He asked for a 13, but they drew a 31-cent phrase. Trying too hard, and he's not quite hip. But in his own mind, he's the dopest trip. Give it to me, baby. Boom, boom. Give it to me, baby. Give it to me, baby. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, cinco, seis. So don't debate a player straight. You know he really doesn't get it anyway. Gonna play the field and keep it real for you no way, for you no way. Just say that you rate, just overcompensate. At least you know you can always go on Ricky Lake. The world needs wannabes and woo! The world loves wannabes and let's get some more wannabes and hey, hey, do that brand new thing.
Yay!
Yeah, that was easy.
That was pretty good, man.